rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, remain standing for the invocation, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shall we all bow our heads, please? Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us all here tonight. We ask that you look over our city of Newman and give this council the guidance and the wisdom to do the right things for the city. And this we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bob. Do we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Parker?
Present.
Councilmember Applegate?
Almost here.
Mayor Reed?
Present.
Councilmember Martinez?
Present.
Councilmember Santaguda?
Present.
Thank you. Any communications from staff? Ernie, you're the only staff? No communications? Okay. Steve? No? Okay. Item number 6, items of public non-agenda items. While the City Council welcomes and encourages participation in the meetings, it would be appreciated if you limit your comments to 3 minutes so that everyone may be heard. Matters under the jurisdiction of the Council and not on a posted agenda may be addressed by the general public at this time. However, California law prohibits the Council from taking action on any matter which is not on a posted agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the City Council. Any non-agenda items? If you'll step to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Corsanti, and I live at 2024 T Street.
Excuse me, Michelle, would you talk into the microphone or pull it towards you or just take it out and hold it up there, either one? That's
Is that better?
That's much
Okay.
better. Thank you very much.
We wanted to bring to the council's attention the fact that the city of Newman had the baseball leagues put together. There were 2 Newman major girls teams put together. The opening season started, the opening ceremonies were April 19th, and the first games were April 20th. The major girls to this date have only played 3 games and 2 practice scrimmages. Everybody's seasons are over. We as parents and the children are very upset, and we feel that we should be entitled to have a full refund. We've tried to talk to Kathy, and I talked to Cleve for a while this afternoon. We tried to talk to Kathy. Our coaches tried to talk to Kathy. We didn't get anywhere. We understand that they had a hard time putting towns together to play us. Gustine apparently bowed out on them, but we had already notified Kathy quite a while ago that Gustine was playing other towns, and they have been all along. The only town not playing was Newman. Hillmar was already playing county ball, and we were being fit into their baseball schedule. Well, they already had their county ball schedule set up, so if they really wanted to commit to play Newman, we should have easily been able to put together a schedule based on their schedule. To this date, it was coming that when the coaches were told we'd play, it could be a day or two's notice. That's not acceptable to the parents of the kids, because everybody else is done with their season. Things were told to us that then were changed. Different people were hearing different things, and it became an issue with us. And we've brought it, Cleve only knew about it today. You know, I did call Cleve today, but we didn't know who to believe or what to do anymore. So basically, some of the parents and the kids are here, and others wanted to be here but are out of town, so wanted me to speak on their behalf. We feel that the city or whoever is in charge should be refunding the $45 plus the $20 snack bar schedule money to the parents. We don't feel we should be docked any money for the uniforms because they were purchased and the kids were put onto the field well before there were ever any teams set up to play us. If they had told the parents that this was going to be an issue, we would not have put up the money. There would have been no reason for us to pay $45 for our kids to play 3 games. And so we're asking for you guys, whoever needs to do it, to instruct them to please give the parents a full refund. Now, we understand, Cleve had told me today that Kathy was working on setting up schedules. Well, it's a little bit too late because each team are facing at least 3 girls that are now going to travel ball. They can't play City League anymore. A lot of these girls are disappointed because of the age requirement. They're no longer going to be able to play City League ball next year. If they don't make the high school team, their ball seasons are now over. So we just feel that the kids lost out completely here this year, and we honestly feel that maybe you as a council should instruct the city to refund all the money. We don't even see what they need to debate it. We're all willing to give them back our uniforms. They can recycle it, do whatever they want. But the parents and the children would please ask you guys to just instruct them to refund 100% of the money. you know, and thank you very much. And I believe
Thank you.
some of the kids want to talk to you too.
Sure. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay, my name is Ashley Pasco. I live at 1338 Stevens Avenue.
Just pretend there's nobody here. Ashley, go right ahead.
We don't
Just
buy,
like you
we
and your-
smile too.
Just like you're in your living room.
Okay, I'm speaking on my mother's behalf because she's out of town. My mom feels that we should get at least some of the money back because we did purchase the uniforms, but she also feels that if Kathy knew that we weren't going to play as many games as we usually would have, and she purchased the uniforms. Anyways,
It's not what your mother feels. What do you feel?
I think that I think that we should get our money back because my team has only played 2 games. We've played 2 scrimmages and 2 games. And the scrimmages were only like 3 innings, and Kathy's saying that they were like full games, but they weren't. I think that we should get our money back because we didn't have a season.
How many teams are in the league here?
In the
Just one or
Minor girls, you have 2.
two?
yeah,
Major girl.
Major.
Yeah.
Okay.
major girls, we have
So-
2 teams.
So they have played each other and then
We played scrimmages against, she's on Mr. Collins and Paul Collins's team. We're on Ryan Baptiste's team.
okay.
We played 2 scrimmage practices that lasted 3 innings only. No
Okay.
score was set.
played them, nothing's been...
And then what about other teams from other areas?
We played Hillmar, we went to Hillmar once, Hillmar came to us once. That's been the extent of the season so far.
What was the league supposed to be?
Okay, my husband's been doing Pee Wees for third land for 30 years. The Pee Wee girls, who did it again this year, Pee Wee girls have 10 games. Some of the boys' teams have 15 games. There's no rhyme or reason as to who plays for how many, but they do them. It's subject to change, apparently. But 2 or 3 games and a couple of scrimmages do not make a season.
Well, how many teams were there supposed to be in the
Rather
league?
than address from the audience, I'm gonna ask for a point of order, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor.
okay.
Rather than address and have a conversation
Yeah.
from the audience, go ahead and step up to the podium, would you please, Michelle? And thank you, young
Okay.
lady.
Thank you, Ashley.
What do you want me to, how
How
many
many-
are there normally?
How many teams were supposed to be in the league?
Major girls are really hard to get. Cleve can probably attest to that more so. They were lucky to get 24 this year to play 2 teams. So major girls is always somewhat of an issue. There was issues last year with it, but I don't know what they were because we weren't a major last year. But it's been a problem for 2 years now, Cleve? So what I suggested to Cleve was that perhaps next year, I don't want to see him throw out the major girls because it's an issue, but perhaps take the applications from the parents, see how many teams, go to these other towns, see who will commit right away to playing us, get your parents together, tell them what the options are, and then decide if you're going to even have a major girls. Don't just throw it out. But there's no guarantee to how many teams you'll ever get.
Okay.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Sure. Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, please. Just state your name and address, and that's all we need.
Hi, I'm Tony Miller. I live at 711 Tulare Street here in Newman. And my biggest concern is my daughters and her friends have been very excited from baseball's their thing, you know. And there's been no practice, no games, 3 games and that's it. And I feel we should have our money back, or partial money back, because it's been disheartening. And what upsets me the most is a lot of these girls aren't going to be able to play next year, especially if they slash the 16 and under or the 18 and under like they did this year. These kids aren't going to play, and unless you're with, I can almost tell you who's going to be on the or Stimba High School team, the freshmen, and if they do get picked, a lot of them are going to sit on the bench. This was their chance to shine, all of them, and they can't do that. This has been a real let down, and there's nothing for these kids to do here. You know, and if you're not financially able, or, you know, where you can take your kids or have something, there's nothing here. And baseball's what they have to look forward to. And it really upsets me that this has happened. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Kate McLaughlin. I live at 1648 Main Street. This happened last year also to my cousin's team, and I don't think it's right that you get our hopes up to play in a team, because this is my first year playing in a city league in Newman, and I haven't been a good player until this year, and I thought, you know, this is really going to be my time, because my sister played before me, and she got number 1 in the league, and so did my cousin, and I'm, you know, it was like my turn to be like, you know, I can do this too, and this is a good chance for me to do something outside of my house, because I'm very outspoken and very, you know, athletic and everything, but I don't get very many chances because I either miss a deadline or, you know, et cetera, but since we didn't get to play a season, because 3 games is not a season, we could have gotten our friends to gather around, get some t-shirts that look alike, and we could have played 3 games in a day, you know, because that's not a season, and that's not what you promised us, and I don't think it was right. And since you guys did say that, you know, you guys did play 3 games, well, you know, it's not enough. That's not what you promised. And it's just, I felt very strongly about it when my coach said that, you know, we could be promised 1 more game, but maybe 2. 5 games, come on. I mean, that's just not right. And as far as the jerseys go, I mean, these are the jerseys. You know, we didn't pay, you know, $65 to have a jersey that we could have marked on ourselves. You know, I mean, I'll exchange my jersey for my money, but I don't think that we should have to exchange our jerseys for our money if we didn't even get to play a full season. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
My name's Carol Manise. I live at 1440 S Street here in Newman. I've been in and out of this town for 30 years. I've had a residence here for over 15 years. I pay my taxes and I live in this town. The little girl that just sat down is one of my granddaughters. I have another one there. All these kids on the team call me Grandma because I never miss a game when we have them. Now, we have called coaches. We have gone through all kinds of help. I put up $65 a piece for these kids, plus bought cleats, bags, mitts. Okay, I'm in over $200 a piece on these kids. And they tell them they cannot play. Now, there's something wrong with this picture. Something very wrong with this picture. Now, I'm not asking for all my money back because they will use the stuff that they got. But I don't think it's right that they hold their money for their uniforms because we'll all wash them up and bring them right down here and give them to you if you like them. For $65, that's not right. My kids played 3 games. 2 practices that didn't even go no time. And when you try to talk to somebody down here, it's like, I'm not the one that does the scheduling, and the lady that does the scheduling does not want to get in there and do anything. Her attitude is, I don't have time. We're doing the road team. So let the road team and stuff pay that money. But these girls deserve to have their money back. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more person if...
My name's Jessica Miller. I live on 711 Tulare Street. And I'm mad about it because we only play like 2 games or 3 games in 2 practices. I don't think that's right because Kathy has no time for us. What she said was that we have too much stuff to do and like feels like she's ignoring us how we feel. And a lot of girls wanted to play this year, and they were gonna have like 18-year-olds play with us, and that's fine. But and 15-year-olds, and now they can't play because they didn't make it on the Oristimba team because some of the coaches there have favorites, and they want to play with the league here, and I don't think that's fair because sorry, I'm nervous.
Take a deep breath like it.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not making a
That
lot of
helps
sense.
me every time.
Yeah, and my mom, you know, like she has a good job and all, but a lot of parents can't pay for this, and my mom busted her butt getting all this money, getting
That's a safe word.
okay, getting this money. We didn't have that much money, and my mom, we almost couldn't play this year, and my mom had to get all her money to see if I could play. My sister Rachel wanted to play, but they cut it off to 14 and lower. So my mom had to like get all her money. That was all her money that she paid for me to get in. And I think she should get her money back. And I don't think it's fair to the rest of the girls that they have to sit in front of the TV because they can't play a sport.
Okay. I think we've got the message here that,
And
so,
I just want to say I'm mad.
Are we
Thank
talking about
you.
65 or 45? I keep hearing two different amounts.
45, I said in my phone.
Yes.
I can explain it if you want, Michelle. There's a $45 fee, and this year we instituted, because problems we had to have had in the past, a $20 snack bar fee, which is if you work in the snack bar, you get your $20 back. That, we didn't get them scheduled. That's automatically going to be refunded. There's no problem.
Okay.
Those are checks that some of them played cash, some played checks. Those that gave checks, the checks were not even deposited, so the checks are still there, and those will be returned. So it's really, the $20 for the snack bar is not even a question. That'll definitely be returned. The $45 is the one that we're looking into.
okay, I think that we can probably come up with some kind of an equitable settlement on this. However, being a non-agenda item, we can't do anything tonight on this. My suggestion would be to have it put on the agenda for the Parks and Recreation Commission, which is the second Thursday of the month, and let them okay it and send it back to staff, and we'll work it out.
I could ask Lee, what's your feeling on this? Should we collect it or should we give it back?
I've got to look into it a little bit more. You know, I've
gonna have to be
received a lot of
discussed.
I know,
information, and I
but,
can't really
I mean-
say at this time, but I think there will definitely be some refunded. Whether or not it'll be the full amount, that's something we've got to look into, but there will be a refund.
Okay, good.
Do we know what happened, Cleve, with the scheduling? I mean, what happened with the other cities?
When we
or
started
do we
out,
know?
we were told by the city of Gustine they were going to have 2 teams, so they were getting close, so we went ahead and formed, but if they had 2 and we had 2, we have 4 teams, we can run a league with 4 teams. Then they pulled out, said, well, we were only able to get 3. It kept going back and forth, 1 or 2, whether or not they were going to have 2. In the end, they had 1, and then when we thought we were working with them and scheduling, something happened. I don't have all the information, but something happened where they went and scheduled games. They're now playing with, I think, Los Banos and Atwater and some of those teams and some of those over there. So there were some problems. If we would have got the 2 teams there and had our 2 teams here, we would have had a league and everything would have been fine. That didn't happen. What we did is we scrambled. We tried to get some games with Hillmar. However, they were already scheduled in the county league. They were already practicing 1 day a week, plus played in 2 games, and they were reluctant to schedule more. They did do, I think, a couple of games, maybe 1 with each team from Hillmar. 2, you played them. 1 team played them twice. I think the other one played them once. So, you know, we tried to do some things, but we just were not able to make it fly. You know, and the girls, I understand their concern. I had the same concern. I have a daughter who's on one of the teams also, so I'll state that. But the key is that, just as they've said, this is their last year, and they would like to play, and that's why we were pushing so hard. We really wanted this to work out. They talked about the 16 and under that they tried to do last year, or they did do, I guess, and that works, except when you get 13-year-olds playing with 16-year-olds, that's a big age spread, and sometimes it doesn't work out as well as you would like it to. And so we attempted to do something, and it didn't work, and now we've got to try to see what is equitable to resolve it. So. Right.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold it.
I know. I agree.
Seems to me like Christine was scared of our girls. Is that what happened, or? Could be.
Yes, go ahead, Michelle, one more time.
Cleve, I understand where you're coming from with the possible split of the money, but to be honest with you, you guys at the city knew. They knew on opening day that there was nobody to play us. Before you committed any of our money, we should have already been told this. So to now say that you would like to give us a partial refund.
I'm not saying that. I said
Okay.
we're going to look at it.
Okay, but what I'm
Consider,
saying is,
yeah.
why are we looking at a partial? You guys didn't give us as the parents the right to decide this. You committed money that we wouldn't have committed had you told us this. So that's why we're pushing so hard for a full refund. We're very sorry that you guys may be off the money for the uniforms. But if we had been told about this, you wouldn't have 24 parents putting up money for a thing they probably wouldn't have wanted to be in. And I gotta be honest with you, I did personally suggest to Kathy, when she told me what she was gonna do, that she get the parents together and discuss it with us before she committed. So to tell us now that you're looking at possibly a partial refund, what did our girls or us do that would warrant you taking any money out of it?
I think he said, let's wait and see.
But that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
That's why we're
Let's
pushing.
wait and see.
And that's what we're pushing for. Is hopefully you'll look at a full refund versus a partial.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle,
And we will get you on the agenda. It's up to the Recreation Commission.
Will we all come back again?
To the Recreation
Hey.
Commission meeting.
Okay,
If
well,
you,
welcome.
if you don't get satisfaction there, then get on our
But you want
agenda
us
and
all to come
there.
back again and readdress this committee?
That's up
or
to you.
Not us. Unless,
No, but this
if you
committee.
get satisfaction through the Recreation Commission, then,
Is this
that's-
person that will call us or another meeting though? We don't know who you're talking about.
it will be on the second Thursday of the month. It's
Here.
Parks and Recreation Commission, right here, yes.
Here. Okay, guys?
And you'll
Okay.
get that on the
Yeah.
agenda?
Thank you.
For them?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will either put it on the agenda, or my hope is that it will be resolved before then. There's a chance that we go ahead and refund the full amount before then, and then I'm assuming that then it's not an issue anymore. So, yeah.
That's what I
So that's
was
all
trying
I'm
to
saying. It may not come to that. What I will do is I have Michelle, I have your address, I have, well, the people that spoke tonight, I have their addresses. We'll make sure that they're informed of the meeting, if we go that far. If we do the refund and don't go that far, then what will happen is, if it's less than a full refund, we will schedule it for the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. If it's a full refund, then we won't schedule it.
That's what I'm trying to say, play it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
We hear you loud. You guys articulated and stated your grievance extremely well. We're a governing board here, the city council. It's a non-agenda item. We listen patiently, and I appreciate it. I know all my colleagues do. I just want to take a moment to summarize the city just shortly being in the recreation department. It used to be a board for baseball, and you mentioned something, Michelle, commitment. We're going to need that volunteerism back. We're going to need that commitment back from the parents, because it's a burden to the city to actually put together such a large program. And as you can see, on behalf of the staff, I'm going to state that there's some difficulties that do arise, because we only have a couple of people trying to put together something for over 500-600 kids. So when you use that term commitment, I thought immediately back to the volunteerism of the parents as well. So
Are you still running for office?
I too early,
Okay.
all right.
but I say that because I've been involved in it. Well, thank you.
Okay, and I think we can get this resolved with to everyone's satisfaction. So we thank you very much for coming, and you're perfectly welcome to stay. If you'd like to leave, you can. So it's up to you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So now, when's the meeting? I'm just gonna ask real quick. I'm gonna go.
No, not that. I'm not side copying that for a minute. Can we come to the meeting one Friday? Because I've offered a couple years back, I got frustrated with the mayor.
Yes. If you would, I'm sure that if you would like to work with Kathy Gonzalez, our recreation director, that she would appreciate greatly, because she's always looking for some help there. She's trying to do all this stuff by herself.
Oh, yeah.
As you see, some things fall through the cracks, so we want to try and get that.
I'd like to do that, and I think that's why a lot of our younger kids
We'll just do that.
Right.
Yeah. There's nothing, 17, 14, there's absolutely nothing to do in this town for them. You know, and a lot of parents commute, single parents like
Hey.
myself, and
Step up. We need your help.
Yes.
Really.
I will. So now, what do I do now?
See Cleve and Kathy.
Cleve will find a place for you.
Yes.
Believe me. Thank you very much.
He'll give you a job. Thank you.
Items from the public, agenda items. Any member of the audience desiring to address the council on a matter on the agenda, please raise your hand or step to the podium at the time the item is announced by the mayor. In order that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak, any person addressing the council will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes unless the mayor grants a longer period of time. Please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, so you don't need to speak now, yeah.
Item number 7, public hearings, there are none. Consent calendar. Item number 8, that's 8A, approval of warrants. Give some direction.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question on the warrants for one check item in particular. If you turn to the second page, it states here Eric Walters, $39.95.68 for removal of sand. I remember staff mentioning this item briefly, and he stated as an emergency where we had an expenditure on the pool for roughly $3,000, a little less than $5 away from $4,000. What exactly is that? Did we get a new filter for this project, or is that only the emergency service to get the sand out?
That was the emergency service. What happened as he got into it, it was more than he thought it was going to be. He wanted to actually add, I forget what it was, another $1,500 or something like that. Ernie, if you can help me, but and we went back and talked to him and said, no, we don't think that's justified. We did agree to about a $200 increase over what was originally quoted us. What this did is he went in and removed the sand from the filter and installed new sand. Basically, the sand, once he got in there, was like concrete, or maybe a little harder than concrete, I don't know, Ernie. And he was in here, there was a little, inside this thing, it's a small space, with a little roto hammer, trying to get it out of there. And so it was quite a job. And he was right, it was more difficult than what he expected when he got in there, so we did, the amount did increase by a couple of $100 over what the original quote
I only
was.
bring it up because I thought that this was an exorbitant amount. I know we need to have our pool in order, but I just know that this is a bit of an aberration of an expenditure. And then I guess the only other check that I had a question about was on the second to the last page for our code enforcement, which was to precision inspection for $49.87, and that was dated June. That encompassed an entire year for that code enforcement. That just wasn't a monthly fee there, I'm certain. Just give me the variance on that for the time. It's,
You know what, I would have to look back at that. I think that may be possibly their total, not just code enforcement.
Okay.
It says it's code enforcement, but it may have not get the inspection. I apologize, without Margaret here, I couldn't, she's on vacation this week, but I can get you that answer, Councilmember
okay,
Parker.
yeah, if you could distinguish that for me, just because we've had some question of that here recently.
Sure.
And without much further ado, Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item number 9, regular business. Authorize city manager to execute subdivision improvement agreement with Merced County for development of industrial park. Please.
You have attached here the agreement. This is one of the conditions that we've been trying to get finalized to proceed with the adoption of the final map in Merced County. This is pretty much a basic subdivision improvement agreement. There are some changes due to the fact that we're not dealing with a developer and a city or a developer in a county. It is the city and the county working together. Some of the requirements were changed, such as the security. We simply provided them with a resolution committing to the improvements rather than providing a complete bond or something like that to secure the improvements. This basically says that we will do the improvements, we will set up the assessment district and all those things that are required by the agreement. This is one of the things that, and says that we will do the improvements and put them in down there. Gives us a 2-year period to get the improvements in, so that's basically it. Just, I was maybe going to cover this at the end of the meeting tonight under my comments, but just to let you know, I spoke to Merced County today. We are scheduled for July 2nd. We do have our improvement plans in. Now, they are still checking those. We hope this time that they don't give us something new again to put on them. But they do have those. They have this agreement. The only thing they are waiting for, and it's not really us, is we have to pay the plan check fee and a map fee. And I've told them, you know, I'm happy to pay it. I'll run a check right over, but I need an invoice to know how much to pay. So that's, I've informed them of that. I talked to the Director of Public Works today, who said that it is scheduled and it looks like everything's ready to go for July 2nd on the agenda. That's it.
Okay, any questions for Cleve? Okay, can we have some direction on this?
I so move with the authorized city manager to execute subdivision improvement agreement with Merced County for development of industrial parks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item number 9B. This is Plan B. Authorize city manager to execute lease purchase agreement with Norbert Rocha, West Side Pallet, to lease property industrial park until such time as the map is prepared for purchase. This is in case we did run into a problem that extended this farther with Merced County, that since we own the property, we could lease it to Norbert to so we could go ahead and get started with his building. Cleve, you want to add anything to that?
The only thing, I handed out some changes. I handed out a new agreement tonight, and I just wanted to bring up what the changes are. Mr. Rocha has requested that a provision be in there that allows him to go in and start his work. He's estimating the work that he wants to start with will be about $10,000 worth of work. If by August, I believe it's August 31st, is that the correct date, Tom?
Yeah.
By August 31st, if we have still not been able to close escrow on the property, he has the right within 60 days to cancel the development agreement, which we have with him to purchase the property, and we would be responsible to pay him the amount that he has put into the property, up to the $10,000, I'm assuming is the way it's written. I don't have a problem with that. I see, you know, I can't imagine anything that would prevent us from being there on August 31st. I talked to Merced County Council about adoption of the assessment district, and they've given approval of what we need to do that. Our city attorney will be working on that. They basically want us to do a memorandum of understanding. So now we know what we need to do. We can do that, and we'll get that in place. They said they can have it on the agenda within a week. That's what their attorney told us. Once we get that back to them in an approved form. So that's really kind of the final piece, so I can't see where we would go beyond that, but I just needed to bring that up to you. If, you know, something does happen, we would be out there stuck with the $10,000. My point is, I can't see that happening, and everybody hopes it doesn't, but it's there.
Yes, sure.
Norbert, could you?
Yeah, please.
Norbert Rocha, and I'm the one responsible for all the excitement going on this piece of property. But Mr. Mayor and City Council, the whole thing is basically the groundwork involved before laying the concrete slab, and I feel that we'd be safe with this part. I mean, this is something that if we get going now, when this does all happen, we can just get right into the concrete slab and the building. It'll really save a lot of time.
So it'll kind of get you formatted for laying a foundation.
Right. Basically,
Grading and leveling, basically.
yeah, grading, because the way I understand, talking to Clete, the city engineer said that the slab for the two buildings need to be a foot higher than the grade. And that's basically to move the dirt around to build the slab, just get the foundation part of it set up, where when this all takes place, we can go on in and just lay the slab and then go with the building. Just so then we don't prolong this any further into the winter. Save all the, good weather to put up the building as quick as possible.
Mr. Rocha, you have my empathy in what's been going on. We're on your side.
Thank you. It's finally good to know there's somebody behind me.
I had a question with the lease agreement. He cannot forego any further until actual tentative maps are finished with Merced County in order to actually put the building on it. That's what I'm understanding. With your additional opt-out, Norbert, and I understand you need to protect yourself and your financial well-being as well. The 60 days, under this lease agreement, what, $1? I think I read.
That's the way it was spelled out,
yeah. It's just $1. Do you actually see yourself maybe moving out if we're delayed any longer than that?
Not really.
Not really.
It pretty much looks like
We
the
don't want
pictures,
it to be delayed any further than
Right.
July 2nd, but
just in case it goes another week or two. I mean, basically, the agreement, I haven't looked at it yet, but my lawyer called me, and Cleve also told me that
Pretty
the
good.
changes were made. And he felt comfortable with it, and I did too. And no, I don't really, I want to go with this here. I know I've been frustrated with it all and everything, because there's been such a gap here that we haven't done
It's
anything.
been bureaucracy.
It hasn't been going anywhere.
Red tape.
But
Too bad.
it looks like it's going to go now, and we got two plans here, and basically we can save, I think, a month's worth of time by doing this, because we got to get compaction tests
Well-
and all that.
If our legal counsel is happy with this, so am I. That's what we pay him for. So,
All right, but there's my whole side of it is not that I'm going to back out of it, within 60 days. I mean, it's just so then I'm protected going into this in case
Understandably so.
things get held up and everything. But I mean, on my side, I'm not going to go. I got too much growing to do, and that I need to get into this as soon as possible.
I'm with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Norbert. Any other discussion or questions?
Authorize city manager to execute lease purchase agreement with Norbert Rocha, Westside Pallock, to lease property in the industrial park until such time as the map is prepared for purchase.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Norbert. I did have one little other item that I wanted to bring up. No, but is as far as I talked to Joe Oliver with PG&E the other day, and he wanted to know how everything was going on the city's end as far as getting everything permit and everything for the PG&E part of the project, and I didn't have no answer for him.
Ernie's been in touch with him, as far as I know, where he's talked to the person that we met with out there that day.
Mr.
who was
Miller or whatever his
I
name
forget
was.
his name, but yeah, Ernie's been in touch with him, and as far as we know, what he told us is that they're moving forward with it, and it's online.
Okay. And one other thing I mentioned to you too is that when this does go to the planning commission, we're ready to go as fast as you guys can get it pushed through,
Right. The plan, it'll actually go to the building department rather than the planning commission.
or whoever it goes
I
through.
told, I'll let Kelly hear this since he's in the audience, but I told Norbert today, I said, I don't have any control over Merced County, but I can have some control and some pressure that I can put on our building department, so I can keep the plan check process moving, and I'm not concerned about that. So.
Right. Well, Mr. Hatcher, which is my engineer, he said he's dealt with City of Newman before and everything, and that he's never had a problem as far as, getting everything together, what you guys need and everything. So he didn't seem it to be a problem, but he says that any support we get on your part will help the project move along. Because like now, we're basically in the middle of summer, and nobody knows about the early winter, so I mean, I'd like to get this up before the rainy season starts.
I'll probably talk to you tomorrow, Norbert, about one of the steps that we're going to have to go through is architectural review, and there's possibly some things you can get into us that can get that process started first, and then we can go into the you know, that can actually kind of happen concurrently with the process in the building department.
Okay, whatever you guys, just a list of what you need,
Okay.
and I'll have, you know, the
Basically,
engineer
I
or
would need
the...
a site plan and an elevation.
Oh, yeah, well, that's why I was waiting on that elevation plans from your engineer to my engineer, so we could get that part done.
Yeah. When I say elevation, though, what I need is an elevation of the building. So we look, is that what you call it, an elevation? Is that what I'm trying to
Yeah, you're right.
You look at the front of the
Right,
building.
right.
see what
He said he could have that too. That's not a problem. All right.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you.
Norbert.
Thank you.
Norbert.
Item number 9C, discussion regarding building at 1349 Main Street. As we know, this building's been sitting there for about 2 years, nothing happening to it.
Until
Miraculously,
recently.
last week,
Until recently.
we had 3 windows in it. Not to go back and to go into the whys and wherefores of why it's been there, but is to get it moving and get it done. And Kelly, could you come up and just give us a time frame of when the facade will be done?
Mr. Mayor, City Council, Kelly Hislop, 732 Real Avenue. We've been in negotiations with a tenant for the building, and today we finalized it. Basically, we were actually negotiating with 2 tenants, and one tenant decided to take it all. And in our contract with them, the building must be completed for occupancy by September 30th. And so it'll be completed by then. And that,
What about the facade? Are you going to do it first?
I'm not positive we are, no.
You're just saying by
See,
September 30th.
That's what we're looking at. It's been
Well, I
sitting there,
understand what
it's
you're
a real
looking at.
eyesore.
Well,
Let me say one thing for the record. Everything that's happening with Kelly Hislop in that building is within the legal ramifications of the city code.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes.
And it has been, and he has completed everything he's supposed to do legally.
I don't think anything's been mentioned about it illegal. It's just the fact that we'd like to get it done.
I realize that.
So it's an eyesore. And
I know,
all
but
I want to do
he's still
is
within his
get
rights.
a time frame for this. And this is, we'll say it's the 1st of July. Would you say that the siding and the windows and door would be in by the 1st of August?
I wouldn't say that, no. I mean, right at this point, we're just completing negotiations with the tenant. We still have, and we have to be done by September 30th, otherwise we're going to be under a penalty with him.
Well, regardless, though, of the tenant being in there, the building, the front of the building could have been finished before. What you do with the inside, how
That's
you
easy. That's easy for
configure
you to
that,
say
that's
where you're
inside.
sitting at. I mean,
Mr. Mayor,
it's our business, right?
No,
And Kelly, I'm gonna call for a point of order, simply because what I'm hearing from my colleague here, and maybe legal can also jump in. If he's fitting under the standards of our code, we've been given a definitive date by which the building will be complete, September 30th. I would agree, that, yeah, the building's been sitting there, and yes, it has been a part of a eyesore, but under legal ramifications, I don't think, it doesn't sound as if we have any
You're correct.
authority in order to say what's going to be done at what time, and he's given us a definitive date. But
Yeah,
I-
absolutely.
And I would like to make it clear that I'm not being obstinate about this. It's just that I can't answer that question because, like, for instance, the door that we have to go is like 5 weeks out in order to have it made and delivered and so forth. And so believe me, I'm not trying to be obstinate
let me
on
make a
this
fair
at all.
assessment. If you could just kind of beautify it as soon as you can within your time ramification for the September 30th, for what works for you, I'm sure we could be agreeable on that.
And it would really be my desire that it would certainly be done in time for your fall festival.
Well, the city set up the codes, and he's within the codes and what he's doing. We can't, unless we go in and change the codes, we can't say anything.
Well, you can change the codes, and then if it could never happen again, but
That's right,
you
but
can't
see,
change
then
them fast
no,
enough
you're
for me.
grandfathered in. So,
I'm not willing to sit here in a barrage of debate, that's all.
I know, but I'm just trying to say what he's doing, he's within his ramifications of the legal
Tom, would
specifications.
you address that?
Well, I think that's true, but I think that's not the question that the mayor's getting to. It's just the practical side of it. So and again,
And I
that's
think
not
I've
a
answered-
conflict.
and I
Nothing
think
to
I've
do with
answered it.
what we can vote on here. I mean, we can't vote to say you have to have it done by September 15th.
No, but I think that's not.
And like I said, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, I'm not trying to be obstinate about this. Like I said, I am unsure as to when exactly it would be finished, and I don't want to give you a date and then have you saying that I misled you. I know it has to be done by September 30th, and like I said, there's some of the stuff that goes in there, like for instance the door, they told us it's 5 to 6 weeks out to get it. The door that's been picked out to be put in there.
But you did refer to having it at least nice by the fall festival, which is the first
Well,
one.
that is our goal.
You said that. I want to repeat
Yes,
what you said.
I said, that is our goal because I would like it to look nice for the fall festival.
That was my statement by the end of August, which is fall festival.
Sounds like you guys agree to me.
Darn it!
Yeah.
While we're on this same type of subject, there's another building at, it's about 1416 Main Street, across the street.
The exact address.
That's,
I know what one you mean.
all of the facade is there and everything. The inside has been torn up for 5 years, something like that.
At least 4, because I've been
Yeah.
here for 4, yeah.
I would like to see us move forward on that and see what options we have. And could you find out and get us a report by the next meeting?
Sure.
Okay. Not if we have one next week, we don't need a meeting. By the
Mr. Mayor, I can probably address that. If I'm not mistaken, this thing has been referred to the city attorney some time ago because they are in violation of the law. It was a building that their permit has expired and they have removed the plaster in it and they don't have a firewall between the two buildings, and we made numerous attempts to get her to come and fix it, which she hasn't. And I believe that we gave it to the city manager to be referred to the city.
Somebody from San Jose?
Someone
Yes.
from San Jose, that's correct. And it's probably been a year and a half or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we'll follow up on it. I'll follow up on it with the
Okay,
city
so
attorney.
we have a
and
report
see
on
what-
that then?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right, any items from city manager?
I don't believe so. I reported on the items regarding Merced County. That was the main thing that I wanted to get back with you on.
Okay, start with you, Tim. You have anything?
I just have a request from staff regarding our codes, particularly with the Architectural Review Committee. I know there's a number of things that we've been approving and we've looked at recently. I like a comprehensive report because I know for certain, and you just mentioned it to Mr. Norbert Rocha, but we also have recently passed where they will look at any improvements at someone's homes. I'd just like a residential. Yeah, I like a comprehensive report to see if we're not starting to inundate ourselves with becoming too bogged down with what we're looking at to review. So if you can get that item to me.
You want a report of what we are reviewing now? Is that
as the Architectural Review Committee, whether
what
they're
they're
looking
authorized to look at?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I have nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Tom?
No, I was just thinking, I had a deal, I guess everybody else got it, there's a secret conference coming up sometime in July or August. I just wanted to know if anybody was gonna go to it from the city.
Would you explain what that
Well, I have it out in the
means?
car.
What does CEQA stand for?
California Environmental Quality Act.
I thought I'd catch them because they were both on the planning commission.
You didn't ask me.
But we don't define the acronyms for them.
I think we need an acronym dictionary.
Well, I think somebody from the city should go to that.
And that's going to be where?
I can run out the car.
Or
and
when?
get it.
You know when?
I have it right on my.
Can I just state, our expert in the past on that has always been our city planner. He's the one that handles most of those issues, and he usually gets all the notices of
Oh,
those.
okay.
He attends them from time to time, and he's, that, in looking at what Bob does, that is definitely one of his expertise. He has really gone through the CEQA law and is very familiar with CEQA law.
Okay.
But if you'd like to get that to me, I'll give that to him and see if he might be
Right after the meeting.
interested. Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Bob?
I have nothing, Mayor.
John?
I'd just like to let everybody know that myself, Public Works Director Ernie Garza, and the mayor, we attended a meeting on Friday with the Bureau of Reclamation and Stanislaus County about the Forest Timber Retention Jam. We took a little bus tour, and it was a nice day, and everybody's we showed them the 2 potential sites and discussed endangered animals and all the other stuff, and the county's doing a good job on moving forward with this, and it's in the works, and got to talk to the right people. These things take time, but everything's moving forward. That's all I had.
Thank you, John. You forgot to mention the dinner at the Mate's Ranch.
Well, I didn't want to make it sound too luxurious.
I was going to ask, did you eat?
Well, I mean, it wasn't exactly luxurious.
Well,
It was a barn with the holes in it.
It's all PR work.
Great,
you know.
great people out there.
Yeah.
So they
Really
did
nice.
feed you, huh?
Yeah, it was really.
You always get a meal.
Lions family are great people.
You always get a meal here or there.
One thing I want to remind everyone, there's a planting of all of our planters and tree wells, replanting, I guess you'd say. Saturday, this coming Saturday at 6 a.m. So anybody that is an early bird, like get out there and help put some plants in the ground, why, you're welcome. It's Saturday. Do you get up that early? Okay. We'll look forward to seeing you. Bring your little garden trowel with you and your shears. Cleve, have you followed through any more on putting out for bids for building services? Seems that it expires the end of January.
No, I haven't. I plan on bringing that back to you at your next meeting. For a decision on what we want to do with it.
Is that the one
July
next
11th.
week or the one in July?
We don't have one next week. It'll be July 11th.
We won't need that one then
No.
next week, okay.
No.
Okay,
No,
so
July 9th.
That's the regular.
Okay.
Yeah, the
That's
regular.
the regular
July
Can
9th, yes.
we can still get that advertised and everything in time?
We'll be able to do what we need to. I'm sure
Okay.
that we can extend with precision on a month-to-month basis if we decide to do it that way.
Okay. The other thing is I approached the chamber directors on possibility of a downtown maintenance assessment district to be able to hire someone to keep the downtown clean, the streets, the planters and everything in shape. It was kind of received with mixed emotion. Most of the merchants that are directors are the ones that really take care of their own areas, and there's no problem. They pick up, they do the planters, they clean up. But there are the merchants who just absolutely refuse to get out there and pick up a piece of paper or clean the sidewalk off or whatever. So I'm kind of open for suggestions. Anyone has any ideas on how we could do this, make it a fair thing? I think if we did hire someone, it would come to approximately $127 per merchant, figuring 85 business owners and merchants. And it really
That's
isn't
per year, right?
per
Yeah,
year.
Per
yes.
year.
And it really isn't fair to charge someone who's out there every morning cleaning the same as someone who never picks up a piece of paper. So I've been talking to Cleve about it. Anyone else has any ideas, why we welcome it.
Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, our chamber president is here, so we'll see what he has to say.
Paul Wallace, President of the Chamber of Commerce, 2025 N Street. My own personal thoughts were kind of along the line of Lloyd, who also sits on the drain, probably Mr. Rocha would agree with us. You know, just how far are you going to go with this? Is just downtown, and are you going to spread this assessment out and expect merchants, because we represent not just the downtown merchants, but business owners throughout town.
This would be the downtown, the
be-
people that are affected by the streetscape.
Yeah,
There was-
you have to be able to show a direct benefit, so it would
Yeah.
be a benefit to those businesses that are down there.
Yeah.
Would
We
you have to
wouldn't
form
charge-
association?
People on
What
the
do we-
highway that...
What you would do is set up a benefit assessment district. It would be a formal district.
Just for a certain area?
Yes, it would have
there-
to, it'd be an area of benefit. for that area.
Okay.
And it would you'd have to be able to, you'd have to follow all the, I believe, all the Prop 218 requirements, which means you have to do the ballots to all the business owners, and they would have to vote it in and everything. So it's quite significant in being able to get that through. You wouldn't want to go into it unless you knew that you had the support of the business.
Can you come back with a report from
I can give you a
your
report
members?
right now. There was very definitely a consensus, for the directors anyway, that are downtown merchants, there is very much a consensus that it's the responsibility of a business owner, that $120 a year would be a burden, that it's, again, the responsibility of the business owner to maintain the front of their place was the feeling of the downtown directors, and that we should probably not act on this right away, that we should, if it's a problem in a year or so, that there's businesses that just aren't getting it taken care of and it's a detriment to their neighbors, then it has to be dealt with on a public basis like this. But that it's right now probably more of a coddle and suggest, and that it's their responsibility, and hopefully most of them, or enough of them, will step up to keep our streets and looking as good as they look now that we've had the downtown streetscape done. But that to rush out and do a benefit district right now, they thought it was enough of a burden that it probably wouldn't pass, and that it's just kind of shirking the responsibility of the individuals who ought to be taking care of the fronts of their businesses.
Okay, I think we could probably get out letters to the business owners and maybe encourage them to do this work out there. A little pressure here and there.
Let me be certain I'm understanding. In other words, for the individual business owners to kind of take care of their storefront area,
Right.
is what you're speaking of? Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, I think that's all I have, except,
I just have one more announcement.
Sure.
This Friday, the 28th, is Senior Awareness Day at Louis J. Newman Hall from 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. And it's to give information to the seniors who are victims of scams, and to also, if they have problems with whatever they have, they know where to call and get the information. It's going to be the police department will be benefiting, Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, many organizations will be there to give information to the seniors. There will also be door prizes for them, and there's really some nice door prizes.
okay. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, the city of Modesto is a little upset with us because we're not keeping our meetings after midnight, so they want to give us some lessons. If there's nothing else, why, I'll call for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Paul, please, question. When you